In today's video, we're going to be looking at 10 of the most disturbing last words of people before they passed away. Let's get right into it. Number 10. Edward Gibbon. Edward Gibbon was a well-known British historian and member of Parliament and was also known for his most famous work, The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. This extensive history was published in 6 volumes between 1776 and 1788. However, his open criticism of organized religion in the books led to him being labeled an atheist, a reputation that stuck with him. In addition to his work as a historian, Gibbon was also active in politics. He served as a representative for the town of Leamington in Parliament and was a member of the Whig Party. Gibbon's final words are often remembered because they were quite unsettling. He expressed a fear of there being only darkness after death. Gibbon spent his life examining the rise and fall of the empires, which may have left him with a dark perspective on what lies ahead for humanity. Gibbon's final words before death were, "All is lost, irrecoverably lost. All is dark and doubtful." Number 9. Roger Chaffee. The Apollo 1, intended to be the first orbital test in NASA's ambitious Apollo program, was scheduled for liftoff on February 21, 1967. The mission's crew comprised of 3 seasoned astronauts, Roger Chaffee, Edward White, and Virgil Grissom. On January 27, 1967, while the team was performing a plugs-out test, a catastrophic fire broke out within the spacecraft's cabin. The fire intensified quickly due to the highly combustible environment, and the increased air pressure inside the capsule made it almost impossible for the crew to escape. Despite attempts to extinguish the fire, the situation worsened until the pressure caused the spacecraft's hatch to blow open. The intense smoke inhalation led to the tragic deaths of all 3 astronauts. Roger Chaffee's final transmission was the last recorded communication before the connection was lost. His final words were, "Fire, we got fire in the cockpit. We're burning up." Number 8. Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos, a notorious figure in Florida's criminal history, was convicted of murdering 6 men across the state. She claimed that these killings were acts of self-defense, alleging that each victim had attempted to assault her, a claim that no one really believed in. During her time in prison and in public statements, she displayed an erratic nature. She would often go on these aggressive rants about stuff that made no sense. Despite numerous interviews and interactions with the media, Wuornos still claimed that her killings were all for self-defense and nothing more. After another psychotic rant, it was time for her execution. Her final words were a reference to the movie Independence Day, showing how detached from reality she had become. Her final words were, "I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock and I'll be back, like Independence Day, with Jesus, June 6th, like the movie Big Mothership and I'll be back." Number 7. Todd Beamer. On September 11, 2001, United Flight 93 was among the aircraft hijacked by terrorists. The flight, which was en route from Newark to San Francisco, was diverted by the hijackers towards Washington, D.C. The intent behind this diversion was to target significant landmarks, potentially the White House or the Capitol building. Todd Beamer was one of the 33 passengers who made an effort to reclaim control of the plane from the 4 hijackers. Although they were able to overpower several of the hijackers, their struggle in the cockpit ultimately led to the plane crashing into a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. Their actions prevented the plane from reaching its likely target, Washington, D.C. This potentially saved countless lives and spared a major American landmark from destruction. Beamer's last words were, "Okay, let's roll." Number 6. Sharon Tate. On August 8, 1969, Sharon Tate, a rising star in Hollywood and the wife of director Roman Polanski, was hosting a gathering at her Los Angeles home. The evening, however, turned into a nightmare when a group of individuals from the Manson family, a cult led by Charles Manson, invaded the property. The intruders, under Manson's influence, carried out a brutal attack on everyone present. Sharon Tate, who was 8 months pregnant, was among those attacked. In a desperate attempt to save herself and her unborn child, Sharon attempted to leverage her pregnancy as a means of pleading for mercy. Her final moments were an attempt to use her imminent motherhood to sway the attackers' intentions. Despite her pleas, she was unfortunately killed. Her final sad words were, "Please, please don't kill me. I don't want to die. I just want to have my baby." Number 5. Thomas Scott. In the late 1500s, Thomas Scott held the position of Chancellor of England and was well known for his strong opposition to Catholicism. As his life drew to a close, Scott's final words revealed a deep-seated fear that resonates with many, the fear of the unknown after death. This fear is a universal one, often crossing the minds of individuals regardless of their beliefs. For some, the fear stems from the possibility that death brings nothing but eternal darkness. For others, particularly those with religious convictions, there is the fear of what lies ahead, whether it's heaven or hell. Scott's final moments have been often cited by the faithful as evidence supporting the existence of an afterlife. His final words were, "Until this moment, I believed that there was neither a God nor a hell." Number 4. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. In the early hours of March 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 mysteriously disappeared while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. On board the plane were 227 passengers and 12 crew members. At around 1:21 a.m., the flight suddenly lost contact and vanished from radar without any prior indication of trouble, making it one of the most perplexing aviation mysteries of all time. The sudden disappearance of Flight 370 sparked an immediate and massive search operation. The search became the biggest in aviation history, with multiple nations contributing to the mission. Despite this massive search effort, not much was found besides some debris in the Indian Ocean that could have been from the plane, but it's not confirmed. Despite the discovery of some wreckage, the main body of the aircraft has never been found, and the exact circumstances of its disappearance remain a mystery. The final haunting words of one of the pilots were, "Alright, good night." Number 3. Cassie Bernal. On April 20th, 1999, a Colombian high school in Colorado became the site of one of the most harrowing tragedies in American history. On that day, 2 students, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, executed a meticulously planned attack that resulted in the deaths of 12 students and 1 teacher. The attack lasted for 15 minutes, and it involved both firearms and homemade explosives. The library of Colombian High School was the focal point of the attack. As chaos ensued, many students sought safety by hiding under desks. Among those seeking refuge was Cassie Bernal, a devoted Christian who was hiding under a desk with her friend Emily Wantz. Eric at some point approached Cassie and asked her if she believed in God. Cassie's final words were a quiet, "Yes, I believe in God," and after Eric heard that, he crouched down beside the desk where Cassie and Emily were hiding and opened fire on both of them. Number 2. Kevin Cosgrove. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center towers in New York City. Shortly after, a 3rd plane struck the Pentagon. In total, the attacks resulted in the tragic loss of 2,977 lives, along with the deaths of the 19 hijackers responsible for the attacks. In the midst of this catastrophic event, Kevin Cosgrove, a 46-year-old insurance executive, found himself trapped on the 105th floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. He contacted his wife, telling her that he was making efforts to evacuate the building safely. But unfortunately, just minutes after this call, the second plane crashed into the South Tower, causing them to get trapped even more. He then called 911 dispatcher, telling them what was going on. His final moments were marked by the horrific sounds of the buildings collapsing. His final chilling words was him screaming, "Oh God, oh!" Number 1. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer is known as one of America's most notorious serial killers, leaving a trail of horror with his actions. Dahmer's reign of terror included the murder of 17 individuals. His technique involved inviting young men, many of whom were gay, to his home under the guise of offering companionship, alcohol, and drugs. Once they're there, Dahmer would kill his victims, often engaging in necrophilia with their bodies before disposing of them. Dahmer will also keep parts of the bodies and then store them in his refrigerator. In May 1992, Dahmer was finally sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Dahmer would end up getting beaten to death by a fellow inmate named Christopher Scarver. His final words as he was getting beaten to death were him mumbling, "I don't care if I live or die, go ahead and kill me." Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe for weekly top 10 videos. Also, let me know in the comments which one of these last words you found the most disturbing. And also make sure to check out these videos right here for more top 10 videos.